However, it's your boy, Salisbury May, and yeah, UFC 317. That was an absolutely amazing card. That was probably the first or second best card of the year. UFC, the one in January with Marab and Islam, that was a great card, more stacked. But the fights were so good in this one. There's so many first round knockouts. It was actually insane. So yeah, let's address the elephant in the room. That video which you saw on my channel, which was predicting Charles Oliveira to beat Itabora, that was AR. That was not me. I don't know. Some reason, I think my editor uploaded an AR video saying that Charles Oliveira is going to beat Itabora using my voice, which is pretty fucked up. So I'm going to have to speak to my Ethiopian editor, and I might have to fire him. But anyway, yeah, he got the first round KO, but that wasn't a terrible performance from Charles. One of the things which in my video which I gave Oliveira advantage was that his mentality in the cage, and there's very few fighters who would ever have had the mentality to walk forward against Ilia Topuria. So it's just that Ilia Topuria is just on a different level, but Charles Oliveira is still a very good fighter. Having the ability to stay composed and walk forward towards Ilia Topuria, even though Charles was getting cracked before, the fact that he was still able to walk forward against Ilia shows how calm he is in the octagon and how experienced he is. Anyway, let's get into the fight. Ilia Topuria predicted that Charles Oliveira was going to walk forward, and him and his team were right. Ilia Topuria's jabs were very good because Charles Oliveira was walking forward. And yeah. Eventually, when Ilia Topuria landed the right hand, he curved his right hand to land on Charles Oliveira. That's just how good his boxing is. And then the left hook. And the shots, Ilia Topuria's KOs always look beautiful. That's just how good he is. You never see a scrappy, ugly KO of Ilia Topuria. All of Ilia Topuria's shots and KOs look like art. Oliveira did do a few things which I predicted in the video. He did land an uppercut, he landed a teep, he landed a leg kick, and he was able to get in the clinch with against Ilia Topuria. But damn, I just wish this fight lasted longer, man. Obviously, Ilia Topuria is such a massive star. Having him win is an absolute benefit, but I just want to see a little bit of a wall, man. It's just the performance was too perfect. I want to see if it is actually human or not, and see him get hurt a little bit and stuff. But I'm a massive Ilia fan, and this is great for the sport now. We have we're probably thinking the next Conor McGregor is going to come in 20, 30, 40 years, but no. The next Conor McGregor is here. Ilia Topuria. It will be the closest thing we ever get to another Conor McGregor. And he's pretty close to when it comes to aura, and he's a better fighter, more skilled than Conor McGregor ever was. So yeah, Ilia Topuria, great win. Then Pantoja vs Kakar France. Let me just see Pantoja's resume. Pantoja's resume is absolutely insane. Kakar France, Kara Sakura, 2 cars in a row, didn't know that. Steve Ersic, Bran Royval, Bran Moreno, Bran Royval again, Ax Perez, Manal Cap, Matt Schnell, Bran Moreno 3 times. Damn, he beat 2 cars in a row and he beat 2 Brandons in a row. Bran Moreno 3 times. And if you go on his tough, so he's got 2 wins against Kakar France. He has, I think, 3 wins against Bran Moreno, 2 wins against Bran Royval, Kara Sakura, Steve Ersic, Ax Perez, and Manal Cap. His resume is absolutely insane, and definitely he probably is the flyweight GOAT. I haven't really watched Demetrius Johnson because I was too young back in the day, but you unks, let me know if Demetrius or Pantoja is the GOAT. But yeah, Pantoja was dominant, and Kara Sakura just Pantoja was dominant and got the choke now. 2 submissions in a row for Pantoja, and I think Pantoja will beat Joshua Van because I don't know, Joshua Van, we don't know how his takedown defense really is. Then Joshua Van versus Brandon Royval. This was a good performance from Joshua Van. I will rewatch it the second time, and I thought it was Joshua Van's victory is a little bit more dominant if you watch it the second time. And the things that Joshua Van did well, he was counter with a left hook, and Joshua Van is good at pull countering your shot and then landing a right hand or a right hand and then like kind of like a shovel jab, kind of left hook jab shovel. So yeah, very good performance from Joshua Van. What else? Yeah, Brandon Royval was trying to land those 1-2s, and Joshua Van did a pretty good job to deal with the reach. He dropped Royval at the end of the round, so I wonder if we reach 5 rounds, how the fight would look like if Joshua Van would get the KO. But Joshua Van couldn't get the KO because Brandon Royval was so long and just couldn't get in the pocket. He had to counter outside of range, whereas his fight with Bruno Silva, they were basically the same size, so Joshua Van just looked way better in that fight. But yeah, Joshua Van still needs to kind of work on his head movement. His head is a bit straight. What else? Yeah, good performance from Joshua Van. And I was really hoping for Manel Cap to fight Pantoja, but I would definitely not mind to see Manel Cap versus Bram Moreno. So Manel Cap would beat Bram Moreno's ass. And also think Manel Cap would outstrike Joshua Van. Then Benil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. This was an unk fight. These guys are like nearing 40, and this fight, well, Moicano got a drop in the first round, but then after the 2 rounds, and Benil Dariush was able to out-grapple Moicano. And I thought this fight would be more interesting than it was. It was pretty boring, not gonna lie. What else? Yeah, 2 unks were basically fighting. So I don't know, Moicano lost now. His momentum's kind of gone because he was on a win streak before the Makachev fight. So yeah. Then Payne Talbot versus Felipe Lima. This is a very good performance from Payne Talbot. I was surprised that I thought Lima was the one who was going to be able to out-grapple Payne Talbot, but Payne Talbot out-grappled Felipe Lima. Even when Payne Talbot would try and go for takedowns, Payne Talbot would just stuff the takedowns and then eventually get dominant position. You get full mount. He got a full mount a few times. One at the end of the round where he was about to land ground and pound. And it could have been 3-0 or 2-1 Payne Talbot. But Felipe Lima on the feet was landing on Payne Talbot. While Felipe Lima probably wasn't comfortable with the pressure which Payne Talbot was putting on him, even though Felipe Lima was outstriking him on the feet. He was uncomfortable with the pressure, so he wanted to shoot takedowns. And yeah, Payne Talbot does have a problem of leaving his chin in the air, where he would get countered with a 1-2 with his chin straight up in the air, which could be a problem in the future. But good performance from Payne Talbot. I'm happy that we got a Payne Talbot win, because we need to keep some these personalities in the fight game. Then Jack Hermansson versus Gregory Rodriguez. Damn, the prelims are so many good round 1 KOs. I mean finishes. Gregory Rodriguez, yeah, I said he was going to KO Jack Hermansson, and he did that. Well, I say that at least the power wasn't going to be too difficult for Jack Hermansson than it was. And Jack Hermansson dropped his left hand and then left hook landed for Gregory Rodriguez. Also, I'm starting to get a little bit technical with my MMA knowledge now, but Jack Hermansson was moving a lot to Gregory Rodriguez's power hand side, which he shouldn't have done. He should have done the opposite. And then Jack Hermansson moved backwards in a straight line with his chin his hand not protecting his chin, and then got chinned. So yeah. Then Harder Emil versus Jose Delgado. I was asleep for this fight because I wanted to at least sleep a bit before I watch the card, because I'm a South African and it's very tough to watch UFC. But damn, Harden Mill was a marauder and unfortunately got KO'd. So that kind of sucks. Oh, it's his first loss. Damn, Harden Mill. The marauder community are not going to be happy with this one. Then Viviana Aruja versus Tracy Cortez. Well done, Tracy Cortez. Then Terrence McKinney versus Borshev. Terrence McKinney looked very strong on the ground, and he's a problem in the wrestling. He's just very explosive and just will outpower you. And he's like little technical things he was doing to get the submission was good and stuff. And I think Terrence McKinney is on a resurgence now, and I think he can even get back in the top 15. He's a fighter who's recovered well from getting absolutely knocked out terribly. So good on Terrence McKinney. And these two fights I haven't seen yet. So yeah, it's your boy Sas Rime.